exactly a year ago that when I saw families walking happily in London or Paris, I wondered whether I had not missed out on life, that perhaps comparative safety and security with nothing more than the mortgage to worry about was preferable to the existence I had chosen for myself. I began to wonder if my privilege had not also been my curse. Does this mean that at 60 you are wondering whether it's all been worth it?
Well, I certainly did wonder it then. I mean, obviously, war should not be the natural state we live in. Oddly enough, when you live in a war, you never think it's going to end, and you start thinking that it is the natural state. And, of course, when you come to Europe, which is an immensely privileged place to live in, I mean, how wonderful a place Europe is. What a state-of-the-art way of living. I got back to Beirut and sat on my very beautiful apartment balcony with my bougainvillea over the edge, and I have my music there too. And I thought to myself, was this really 30 years of doing this? You can't wind the movie back and start again like you can with Foreign Correspondent. And I thought, is this really the life I wanted? But then again, I also thought back to when I was offered the job. And I remember thinking, wow, the possibility of being in the Middle East and covering history. And I know that I would take the same decision again if I was 29 once more. I'm not happy. I don't enjoy my work at all. But I'm passionate about it, and I wouldn't want to live in any other way.
What's your 8th record?
Well, it'll surprise you, perhaps. It's the Israeli national anthem, the Hatikva. I first heard it at the battlefield of Al Alamein, when there was a great commemoration, as there is every year on October 23rd, marking the anniversary of the battle, Montgomery's victory over Rommel in 1942. And I was looking at the monument, and as I walked round, you would notice there'd be an Arab name, a Muslim name, and then a Jewish name, and then a Muslim name. And these names on the memorial are, of course, those citizens of Palestine before it split up into the West Bank, Gaza, and Israel. And they fought together with the British against the Nazis. And as I was reading the names, the Israeli delegation, which now comes, of course, Israel didn't exist then, but it comes for the Jewish dead, played this wonderful piece of music, the Hatikva. And when I listen to it, I still love this piece of music. I wonder if only the Israeli government could behave with the same dignity and integrity as this piece of music.
The national anthem of Israel, Hatikva, chosen as your 8th record, surprisingly, you said, Robert Fisk. You're alone on the island then, nothing to bear witness to.
Oh, I've been watching the sea off my balcony for 30 years, Kirsty. I can certainly watch the sea again on the desert island. Well, it won't be bad.
You have the complete works of Shakespeare and the Bible. Which
Actually, I don't think I want the complete works of Shakespeare.
Right. You could use
I'm not looking for a substitute, but I've had enough of Shakespeare in my life. I can quote much of it too.
And you've also got the Bible, but again, you'd file that under fiction, so that wouldn't be much use to you.
And I don't particularly want the Quran on my island either.
And what book would you take? You're allowed to take one book.
Mallory's Mort d'Arthur, because it's the only book that's ever made me cry. And if you read Mallory, it's very interesting that the knights in Mallory had clearly been on the Crusades. I think Mallory might have gone on the Crusades. He'd certainly talked to people who'd been fighting the Muslims in the Middle East. And at this time, I'd never been to the Middle East. I was at college. I'd never been to the Middle East. And he describes a battle in which an arrow hits him and the pain he feels. And I thought, my goodness, this guy has been in battle. This is a real battle witness from, 14th century, 12th century.
So that's the book. You're allowed a luxury.
Well, when I was at school, I learned to play the violin. This sounds like an old cliche. And I used to play in an amateur orchestra afterwards. And so probably I'd like to have I've got my violin. It's in Beirut, actually. I'd like to have it restored and see if I can learn to play again.
We will happily give you that. And if the waves crashed onto the shore and were in danger of washing away all of those desert island discs, which one would you run to save?
Oh, I'd keep Samuel Barber. Adagio for strings. It's too haunting to dispense with. I managed to rescue that one.
Robert Fisk, thank you very much for letting us hear your desert island discs.
You're very welcome.
You've been listening to a podcast from the Desert Island Discs archive. For more podcasts, please visit bbc.co.uk/Radio 4.